I'm behind the talk, dude. I'm just the camera guy.
All right, guys, check it out. I had this wild idea. Maybe some of you can't quite keep up with all the stuff I've got going on. We've got a lot of cars. We've got a lot of project stuff. It's hard to keep track of all of them, and it's way harder to explain what we're doing with what. We got a small portion of the fleet, mainly the cars that run, kind of lined up here. I guess more of a formal introduction to different projects that we got going on, and if we decide, hey, we're gonna do something with this car, do something with that car. I've never named a car before. So really, I want your guys' help to maybe name some of these cars. That way we can keep better track of what project's doing what. And you guys are probably more creative with names than I am. To start off, we've got a pile of Crown Vics. This one here, we decided to do some Hoopty Cross stuff with it. We took this to LS Fest. We let a bunch of influencers drive it. Jason from Hoopty Cross was over there playing around, and
This is the longest I've driven anything without breaking it, so I better.
you probably saw a bunch of clips from those guys racing around the off-road track at LS Fest. Well, if it was at LS Fest, it's got an LS in it. As a matter of fact, all of these cars have LSs in them. It wasn't really by design, it just happens, right? You guys already know this one. We did drag and drive with it. Makes a bunch of horsepower. 870 is the fastest it's been so far. We've got some issues to work out with the boost controller, but hey, we haven't even started our real racing season yet. Today's really the first nice kind of day. Sun's out. It's like 60, 65 degrees out here right now, so we're excited for the season upcoming. You've seen some videos with this one here. Again, we kind of threw this together for LS Fest. We were hoping to do the burnout contest there, but unfortunately they were a little overfilled on the burnout class cars. We did some off-road with stuff with it there, and then we've taken it and done some SCCA rallycross along with a little, spirited driving in the woods in Southern Ohio. We plan on taking this out to more of those rallycross events, and hopefully we can get a couple other guys to drive the car that may be a little more behind the scenes type people, or heck, even some more influencers. You got a bunch of interest in driving the car? We might set something up. Holler at us. And then lastly, this is kind of one of my dailies. It's a 335 BMW. I think it's an 09. It's hard to keep track of the years. LS swap on that as well. It's an LS3. That one makes a little over 500 like you saw on the dyno. We haven't had it on the dyno with the new changes on the intake manifold and E85. So at some point, we'll do a fuel flush on this, put some proper E85 in it, and really see what it makes horsepower wise. But for now, it's just kind of my cruiser, so it's a fun drive. Not necessarily the fastest car in the group, but it gets the kids to school and it picks up groceries pretty well. That said, all these guys, well, we'll see what we do with them this year. So this is the BMW 335i. We did an LS3 swap in it. It's got a set of ported cylinder heads, stage 4 BTR camshaft, and now, most recently, the BTR equalizer intake manifold. This is the one that on pump gas on the dyno made a little over 500 after some changes. Fun car. It's a manual. I drive this thing daily, nearly. Can't say enough. It's a fun car to drive, so we like this one. If I was to rate horsepower and drivability and fun factor, 0 to 5, airplane. God. So this one here, I said makes over a little over 500. We're gonna rank this thing, how about a 3? Makes a 3 in the horsepower department. Drivability, we're gonna rank that a 5. Super fun to drive on the street. And well, I guess your fun factor, we'll rank this one at about a 4. Not much to say about that, right? A 4. Corvette's next. Well, the only one that opens the hood the wrong way. LS3 in this one as well. Ported heads as well. This has got a stage 5 camshaft in it and makes nearly the same horsepower as the BMW. So, same deal. We're gonna rank this one at a 3 on horsepower. Fun, man, well, it's a completely different kind of fun. We drive this thing mainly in dirt. It's a 4. It's a solid 4. Solid 4. 4.5. Let's call it a 4.5.
There we go.
Drivability, it's loud. It's super loud. It's got off-road tires on it. It moves around a little bit on the road. It gets attention, but drivability, we're gonna give it a 2. It's fun to drive sideways, but it's terrible to drive to go pick up groceries or drop the kid off at school. They really give me some really bad looks when I drop my little one off at first grade. You guys definitely know all about this one. This is gonna be easy. Horsepower department. Come on, man, they made 1,200 horsepower on 21 pounds of boost. We're gonna go ahead and say 5 on the horsepower. We're gonna crank it to about 30 pounds. Hopefully in the next couple outings here, the car comes out, really kind of push it, which we're expecting it's gonna make a little over 1,800-ish at that kind of horsepower. So, well, we'll see what the new quarter mile times will say with that. Drivability. Well, it's a 1,200 horsepower drag and drive car. It doesn't do bad. It's better than the Corvette. Easily better than the Corvette. But not nearly as nice as the BMW on the street. Let's give it a 3. We're gonna give this a 3 for drivability. Now for fun, you guys saw some of the wheelies, right? Like, come on, man. They're going 870s in the street car that we drive with a trailer behind it. We're gonna give it a 5 in fun.
Ooh.
And lastly, I don't drive this thing very often. Not nearly often enough. Come on, man. Let me see what's down here. All right, so lastly, my other Crown Vic. Also LS swap. This has got a 6-liter in it with a Truck Norris camshaft from BTR, Trailblazer SS intake manifold, and a 4L60 transmission. We need to make some changes to that. After we let everybody have a good time beating the hell out of this thing at the LS Fest, it now only has first gear and reverse.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really.
We'll make some changes to that. I don't know, maybe we'll give it some upgrades. I rarely get to drive this thing. Everybody else is getting to drive it, loves it. Haven't heard any major complaints other than it spins the tires too easy. I think somebody just doesn't know how to use that right clip. We gotta rate this one. Almost forgot to rate this one. Horsepower. This one made 350 horsepower-ish. It was like 349, 348, something like that. I'd say horsepower on this one, we're gonna give it a 2. It's the least out of all of them. Drivability on this one here. Again, I haven't driven it very much, but I know how these cars drive. I've had them in the past. Compared to what we've got going on, we're gonna give drivability, let's give it a 3. And as far as fun, again, I really haven't got a chance to have a good time with it, but everybody else did. Let's give it a fun for 3 right now, and that might change if we go play around with it some more.
We'll have to remember that.
Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll reassess the ranking after I get some seat time with it. That said, we did a thing. You know, because this isn't enough cars, and there's some cars that aren't here that, well, don't really run yet, so we'll just kind of leave those guys in the background. But I want to introduce you to the next one. We did this. Yeah, drove to basically Hilton Head, South Carolina, to pick this guy up. Another one of those wanted on gov deals. I think I got a little carried away on the bidding, so me and the guy got into a bit of a bidding war. Whoever he was, thank you for making me pay so much for this thing. Low mileage. It's only got 87,000 miles. And man, it's a South Carolina car, so it is pristine. Other than maybe the faded paint, it could really stand to get a big wash. I don't know how much you can see here, but she's dirty. It's been sitting for a while. But man, let me show you under the hood of this thing. Bone stock. Look at it. Look how crispy everything is. It's been untouched. No one's messed with this thing. Well, no one's messed with this thing yet. You know how we leave things alone. Interior's in great shape.
Pristine all the way around.
We got an idea. So a buddy of mine, John Weber, over at Auto Interests, they do road course stuff. They've been talking about a Spec Panther class for quite some time. And they keep coming and asking me, hey, like, what do you want me to do? I can't road race. I've got 2 lifted Crown Vics. I'm like, well, you know, they didn't stop making them there. Of course they didn't. So we're gonna give our hand at road racing stuff. I haven't been on a road course in probably 15, 20 years. I mean, they didn't move the pedals around on me. Steering wheel is still where it's at. We're gonna figure out how well we stack up against the other guys that probably do that more often than I do. So we're gonna convert this thing to a road race car. It's a Spec Panther series, therefore it's gotta be kind of stock in a lot of aspects. So you're guys gonna follow along with us as we do our build to get this thing ready for road course. Must retain stock suspension, that's the control arms, shocks, The brake setup's got to be stock. Engine's got to be stock. No tuning allowed on it. We can do a little bit of transmission upgrades, some coolers. The exhaust can be modified, so that's kind of cool. We make it loud and obnoxious, of course. It says you got to run stock manifolds, but pretty much you're free to do whatever you want after that. So we'll come up with something. You're allowed a 200 treadwear tire. So we're gonna do something, you know, more than likely a Falcon, a Zini, like everybody else is probably running, because I think that's about the best thing out there, or at least from my research. If you guys got better ideas, let me know. We're allowed a 275 tire all the way around. So if you know of a super lightweight wheel, 17-inch or an 18-inch wheel, let me know. Inevitably, I think the only thing that comes to mind is an RPF1. We'll probably do something like that. Fun part about this is we're allowed up to 4 drivers on the team. I've got some buddies that are gonna help me drive this thing, and well, hopefully one of them's a ringer, because I don't expect to be the fastest one. So we'll just go out and have a good time with it. Oh, and another thing, this is the only one that's still Ford powered right now.
And it's got to stay that way.
And it has to stay that way.
Unfortunately.
Well, until they do this unlimited class I've heard about, but well, we'll see. Hey, do you think it'll do a burnout?
Yeah.
Should we try?
Yeah. It might.
It might not got it.
It's probably kind of scared with that one over there.
It's a stock Crown Vic. Like, I'm not sure. It doesn't have an LS motor in it. Let's see what happens. Dude, were the cops getting us? Nope. That wasn't us.
Pull over, pull over.
I'm already pulled over.
I'm already pulled over. I'm ready to pull over further. Super Trooper special.
Look, hey, we cannot let Shanton play with this thing. He will get everybody in trouble.
The new ride is fitting right in. Oh, hold on. Nope.
Stop!